Good afternoon, eminent panelists and distinguished audience. Thank you for joining us today at this important session organized by Power to SME on the future of MSME financing, emerging trends, and disruptive technologies. To discuss the challenges, opportunities, and way ahead, we have with us a panel of speakers with session chair who needs no introduction, Dr. H.P. Kumar Saab, who has held a position of Chairman and Managing Director of National Small Industries Corporation and also happens to hold a prominent position of Director of External Affairs with us at the Power to SME. We also have with us Shri Ravi Tyagiji, who is the Chief General Manager of the Digital Initiatives at SIDBI, Mr. Prajay Shukla, Manager Sales and Business Development of North at Receivable Exchange of India, and Mr. Saurabh Tiwari, who is the Chief Business Officer of Search My Tenders. Now, before I hand over the session to Dr. Kumar Saab, I would like to take you through a brief introduction on Power to SME Private Limited. So, this organization was founded by Mr. R. Narayan in the year 2012, where Mr. Narayan held a prominent position also as a president of FICCI, CMSME, the Confederation of MSME, that is a body being run by MSME division of the FICCI. Leveraging his keen entrepreneurial acumen, Mr. Narayan devised a groundbreaking business model that disintermediated the supply chain of widely utilized raw materials, directly connecting the large entrepreneurs with the MSME ones. So this novel approach circumvented the traditional multi-layered distribution system, offering a significant price advantages to the MSME sector. So this is the Power to SME ecosystem, wherein the Power to SME is a mother brand which undertakes the operation of raw material sourcing and procurement solutions. Then we have SME shops. That is a one-stop shop addressing the SME MRO needs to meet the growing and frequent requirements of SME buyers for consumable industrial goods. Then we have BIS Funds, that is the in-house NBFC, which offers innovative and competitive financial products for raw material purchase, and FinanceMe, that ensures seamless approval of working capital loans for SME partners through our paneled financial institutions and NBFCs. And this is the key categories that we are dealing with, apart from many others. These are the major industries that we are serving. These are the business, the digital initiatives that we have taken. And, it's a one-stop solution for all the requirements in which we facilitate purchase financing, MRO requirements, that is powered by the digital capabilities that we have. These are the few of the investors. These are the awards that we have secured over the years. And this is where you can find us on the social media. Thank you. So now this was a brief introduction, and I hand over to Kumar Saab for taking up from here and take the proceedings forward, sir. Over to you, sir.
Thank you very much. Thank you, Varun. Am I audible clearly?
Yes, sir. Yes.
Okay, thank you. In fact, it's very important subject that we have taken up today for discussion. Very interesting and very close to my heart also. I think everybody in our distinguished panel also is connected with the financing. I think Ravi ji is there, Ravi Tyagi, CGM, SIDBI, and Prajay Shukla and Saurabh. I think all of them are with the financial ecosystem, financing ecosystem for the MSME sector. So let me start with the problem statement. The problem is that there is a gap in financing. There is inadequate availability of financing. This is what the MSME sector has been complaining. And it is not easy to get access to finance from, lending institutions, particularly banks and other big financial institutions. And this issue has been raised time and again for the last 30, 40 years that I am associated. I have been, having these kinds of complaints coming time and again, even today. While the banks are willing to, provide finance because it's their job. Credit dispensing is their job. That is their business. They earn money out of it. But still, there is a gap between, availability, the need and the availability, the demand and the availability. Some IFC study had calculated that there is a shortfall of about 25 lakh crore. I think Raviji would probably substantiate and inform us as to what is the current status. But this is a study which was done a few years back. अब उसमें बढ़ा है या घटा है, गैप कम हुआ है या ज्यादा हुआ है। अब डिमांड अगर बढ़ रही है, मार्केट इकोनॉमी हमारी अगर स्ट्रांग हो रही है, जीडीपी बढ़ रहा है, तो डिमांड तो बढ़ ही रही होगी। हमारे कंट्रीब्यूशन एमएसएमई सेक्टर का तो कम तो नहीं हो रहा, बढ़ ही रहा है। पॉइंट यह है कि इस गैप को कम कैसे किया जाएगा। मतलब इतने एफर्ट्स करने के बाद पॉलिसी लेवल पे, गवर्नमेंट इनिशिएटिव, प्रायोरिटी सेक्टर लेंडिंग, देयर आर वेरियस awareness programs, campaigns, directions by the Reserve Bank of India. And it is not that the banks and lending institutions, including SIDBI, RXIL, trades platforms, they are all doing their best. But still the gap is continuing or even, I think, going up. So what is the solution? So this topic that we have taken up today for discussion is basically going to address that, as to what are the emerging trends and disruptive technologies. Can we take the help of technology which have started, in fact, implementing for the last almost, a decade? And what is their contribution as of now? What is our experience? And how far they are going to take us in future to reduce this gap and meet the expectations of the MSME sector? That is what I think we are going to discuss today. We have a panel of experts, none other than the Chief General Manager of SIDBI, Mr. Ravi Tyagi. Welcome, Ravi.
Thank you, sir.
We have Mr. Prajesh Shukla, who is Manager Sales and Business Development, RXIL. Welcome, Mr. Shukla.
Thank you, sir. Thank you.
An important player, in fact, in the MSME financing framework. And the other gentleman is Mr. Saurabh Tiwari, who is himself an entrepreneur and is the co-founder of Search My Tenders. He is a very distinguished fellow of Indian Institute of Management, Lucknow. I was very happy to know about his background.
Yeah.
So welcome, Mr. Tiwari.
Thank
I
you,
think before I hand over to them for their guidance, and future roadmap, let me say a few things just to open up the discussion. That fintech is going to play a very big role. When we say disruptive technologies, the RXIL is nothing but fintech platform, which was of course started by SIDBI way back in the form of bill discounting platform. So that is one side. It is basically receivables financing through different trades platform. Then there is a cash flow based financing, which is again taken up a big shape, and that also is basically technology based. Then there are other mechanisms which are coming up. Along with the payment platform, you start the financing platform also, like Paytm, or maybe other similar platforms. Those who had started as a payment platform, they have also entered in the financing landscape. They have also extended their area of operation. So, and consumer-based financing, of course, has taken a very, very big, space in the entire ecosystem. And as much as the Reserve Bank of India had to caution, in fact, few days back, all the banks as to the quantum of credit which they are supposed to, consider. I think the reason being that consumer-based financing is considered to be easy to implement and more lucrative for the banks and financing institutions, and easy to recover because the risk gets dispersed. But the issue is, and large corporates, of course, they have never had any dearth of credit. Large corporates, big industries, established players, they don't have any shortage. Problem is the micro, small, even to some extent medium also. But medium also, I would not say that they have much of the problem, except that it takes little longer for MSMEs to get the approval of the desired credit facilities, and the documentation, big documentation, big compliances, preparing the projections in future and giving securities and guarantees. That is another area which I would not like to open the discussion about. So these are the issues which which come into play when we discuss about the future trends and disruptive technologies, whether they are going to improve or what effect they are going to make on the credit financing mechanism for the MSME sector. So I would like to first of all invite Shri Ravi Tyagi, Chief General Manager, Sydney. I hope Raviji, can I invite you first?
Yeah, no problem, sir. I can come in.
Yeah, I think you can open the discussion, and we would be happy in case you can inform as to how SIDBI, because I understand SIDBI also
Yes. Yeah.
has been very
So,
active in introducing new models, in
new
fact,
models, absolutely.
of financing to the MSME sector. So over to you, Raviji. He is a very senior officer, Chief General Manager in SIDBI, and with a vast experience of MSME, issues, particularly the financing issues. So over to you, Raviji.
Thank you, sir. Uh, it's my pleasure to be here. Thanks to the Power to SME team for inviting us. Uh, so, sir, you mentioned a couple of things which I think I'll just use to start the discussion. MSME, we a lot of times we talk in the same breath, MSME, but MSME is very wide and diversified segment. So as you was mentioned that medium is 250 crore turnover companies today, which are and they may have 2 or 3 companies in the group, and we are talking of then small companies which are, let's say, doing 5 crore 10 crore businesses. But 80% of the business of India, or I would say the enterprises which we call which need money, are in the micro sector. And in micro sector also the definition is 5 crore turnover, but there are businesses who are below 50 lakh business, who just do 2 3 lakh 4 lakh business per month. So that's the biggest segment, which is in India, because if you go around the markets, tier 2 towns, in suburbs, you'll see small shops, small retail shops, small multiple kind of activities happening even up to rural level. This is the place where probably which was the most deprived segment from the financial point of view. And the problem was, of course, always, the banking credit is based on risk assessment. So for risk assessment, you need information and, some qualitative information to judge that, decision making that you're doing. So there was huge information asymmetry that lenders didn't even have information, because these guys were not in the formal economy. It's very tough to know what they're doing. A lot of cash economy was there. They don't have GST registrations. So how do they know what is happening? A lot of them don't even prepare balance sheets. So businesses, who are doing 70, 80 lakh of business may not even prepare. So if their profit is above certain level, they are supposed to mandatorily prepare. So it's a huge segment which was totally deprived. But thankfully, I would say things are changing very rapidly. And things have changed rapidly in recent past, and the momentum will only increase. So India is fortunate that we have actually delivered one of the best in class solutions in public digital infrastructure. Most of it is being used very actively for financial ecosystem now, right from starting from CICs. You'll be surprised to know there are so many countries today, country as big as South Africa, they don't have a credit bureau. Just imagine how you will lend without credit bureau. That what we were doing 25 years ago. So we're struggling to know what this borrower is doing. So that basic infrastructure is not there in some very good countries. SIDBI has, SIDBI supported CIBIL at that time when CIBIL was set up in the country. Today we have 4 CICs and a very matured system. There is on tap information available for everyone in the country, and that has the biggest thing which is driving credit growth these days, consumer and SME and micro credit, which I'll discuss, is that CIBIL and CICs have brought responsible borrowing. There was a lending thing, but responsible borrowing is more important. Today, even when a SHG member, a small group member in a village, takes a loan of 20,000 from a microfinance institution, they are very careful, because they just say that mera CIBIL kharab ho jayega, kuch problem to nahi aayegi. They know that they will cut out of the financial system if they're out of it. So it's a very fortunate thing. We have a very good credit bureau system which is digitally integrated with the entire financial system. You can just pull a record of the customer directly, which we don't realize is a very powerful thing which a lot of countries don't have. Number 2, then the journey started with Aadhaar. Of course, in a complex country, KYC was complex. It's such a diversified country. There are migrant people. So UIDI solved the first problem of individual KYC, which is again available through public APIs today. And then, we, of course, UPI came. And UPI also created a magic which was never expected. None of us expected probably 7 years, 8 years ago that we'll be making payments through our phones, even the people in our kind of segment. But that happened. So UPI suddenly democratized payment in the country. It brought QR codes in front of small street vendors and smallest shops, and everybody got a QR code. So what that did was it started bringing these people into financial ecosystem. People were making payments, money was going in their banks instead of collecting cash. And therefore, suddenly, all these people started having a financial trail, which is very useful for bankers. So, that happened. And then the big thing came, which was GST. Now the banks suddenly have access to complete trade data, very authentic trade data from the, right from the source. So all the GST registered entities, we can just pull their supply, purchases for last 2 years, and banks can do massive analysis over that. From where you've been buying, change in patterns, trends. So all this is very valuable data suddenly, which was available to lenders, and it was just coming every 2 years, something new is coming. And latest is the account aggregator system. Probably all of you must be knowing this is a new, I would say, digital pipes which have been created in the ecosystem, where today we'll be able to pull now bank statements and other financial asset information, FD details, mutual fund details, insurance details of an individual or a company through the account aggregator system. So this is magic. Nearly all the information which was required for a credit decision is available digitally. So the information asymmetry is gone. Things which lenders could never access. Now we have bank statements on tap. We are getting GST data on tap. So it has made a huge change. So number one thing I would say, when you say what is the future of lending in India, I would say it's going to get commoditized. Commoditized in the sense that it will become so widespread and smart that everybody will get a loan in the country, and everybody will get multiple offers of loans from different people, because the lenders, all kinds of lenders, there is growth happening all around, and they'll all approach individuals to give money. Yes, there'll be different risk premiums, there will be different kind of way of giving money, multiple products will come, but lending will get democratized because the same information is available to everybody now. See, earlier there were, if one bank has a better channel on the ground, it was easy for them to collect information. But today, the borrower at a press of a button will just channelize all his information to you. So it's becoming so powerful. For a small entity to set up a fintech, it's much easier because all the data pipes are public pipes. This is another big thing that is in India, that DPI, what they call as digital public infrastructure. No country in the Western world has this kind of infrastructure, because there everything they try to monetize and privatize. And India, they have kept it under government control, and all these pipes are free, nearly free. Very cheap data is available to everyone. And therefore, the Indian credit market is stable in worst of kind of global crisis, which is happening, recessions, everything. India credit market is thriving, growing, and Indian SMEs are growing, and Indian industry is growing. High level things. Now, the thing is, for SMEs, it's very important to understand how is this going to change. So as I said, they will have very specialized product. Lenders will also get smarter. The first thing SMEs have to understand is, while you will get more and more credit, but lenders' decision systems are going to become more and more intelligent now, because they're sitting on a lot of data. They're looking at so much information, probably, which you won't be able to analyze. They'll analyze very quickly. They'll know everything about you through, the data which is coming to them through sources. So for you to understand that, earlier only CIBIL was an important point for me, that I am repaying my banks in time, and that is the most important thing. But now this will change very quickly. So the lenders will, know that whether you are paying your suppliers in time, whether you are paying your salaries in time, how seasonal is your business, how patterns have shifted, how suddenly there is a dip in your business. So they will have information to the last day. On the day you approach them, one previous day information they will pick. So you people have to understand that every SME will also have to improve governance in terms of financial discipline, because otherwise it will get picked up very quickly by the lenders from one or other of the sources. So that's very important for you to know. While if you are a good disciplined person, there will be a plethora of offers for you and very competitive offers for you, because people will find out that you are a disciplined person. Your bank statements, your GST kind of patterns are showing that business is stable, steady, growing, and there's no kind of negative, I would say, downward spikes or things like that. So then you get a lot of loan. So one is it's going to be very intelligent systems which will work now, and offers will come to you on your own. That's another thing which will happen in future. It's not that you will have to go. People will approach you for anything that you require, whether it's structured finance. Structured finance means very strange kind of thing. You are having problems in your company and you want some help for a special kind of finance to get you out of that. Even that will be available because people will be able to do better analysis and they'll reach you out. Whether you need money for growth, you need venture debt, you need unsecured money, you need short-term 1 month money, you need 10-year money, you need secured money, forex. So everything, lending is not simple. Giving a consumer loan is the simple thing because everybody just borrows and there's a salary slip which they see and give money. But giving money for anything else is very complex because requirements are complex, needs are very diversified. But it will all start happening in a better way. It will be paperless. Most of the things will be gone, so that what sir mentioned, heavy information, big files, those days are gone past. SIDBI is today giving loans. We don't collect a single paper. There are no files. So we are pulling balance sheets, which used to come in big papers, which used to come from, consultants and CAs carrying files. So we pull directly from MCA, ITRs we pull, we reconstruct balance sheets based on ITRs, we pull in data. So nothing, there is no files, there is absolutely no paper. Decisions will be straight through also. For today's SIDBI, for a loan of up to 1 crore for machinery, we give a decision in 5 minutes. So you just kind of, go to SIDBI website, any company which needs a machine loan of up to 1 crore, you just have to, upload your 3 balance sheets and, you have to just pull your GST data by giving your OTP of your GST and a couple of more things. And immediately we give you in principle approval of, up to 1 crore. And within 2 days, officer of SIDBI will visit you and the loan will be given in 2 days disbursement. So we have, things are changing very fast. This could have taken us 2 months earlier. So all I'm saying is, while I take Mr. Kumar's statement that India is a very complex country also, very large country. So there is the appetite for credit is huge and new segments who are never banked are also entering into the mainstream. But if someone is giving them money, either a fintech is giving or a microfinance institution is giving, and they are continuously moving up the ladder. So they will start borrowing at high rates from a microfinance institution, then come to a NBFC with slightly lower rates, go to a cooperative bank, and then it's a journey. And you'll finally reach some big banks who will start giving you money at 12%, 10%, or 9%. So this is continuously happening, and there is better data points for banks to do it. And sir, one more thing I would like to tell you, even the documentation. Today, NESL, National E-Governance Services Limited, and in India, has introduced digital documentation execution. So today, SIDBI with all its customers, we don't do any paper documentation now. Documentations are done while borrowers sitting at their home using the Aadhaar authentication, and we are signing all our loan agreements, documents, hypothecation, various undertaking, everything digitally. And even all digital contracts, any SME can also between themselves, if they're signing a digital contract, they can also sign it using DD. So all I would like to say is, I know I'm probably exceeded the time, but the future is very bright. Indian banking system is very large and very competitive, and continuously new players are coming. So when the banking system is competitive, it means it will bring better offers, better products, better interest rates for everyone. Even if in a very small niche area, trades platforms, there are 3 platforms, and SIDBI works on all the 3. We have answer on all the 3, and they are very competitive between themselves. They know how much competition is there. So within the finances, there is so much competition. We are giving so low rates on the trades platform, and that will result in all the new lenders going to unbanked areas or underserved areas, because that's where they will find new business. If you're anyway going to a company which has loan offers from HDFC Bank, you will not get business. You will go to a company which is not getting adequate money. So new finances, new NBFCs are today rushing to traders using their GST data. CIBIL data shows there is a huge spurt, and maximum inquiries for the first time in the country are from the micro sector. Because small loans, 10 lakh rupee loans, 20 lakh rupee loans, there is a huge spurt. And this is, sir, what, as you mentioned, I didn't come with the numbers, because I didn't know that that may be required, but I can send you separately. The numbers are increasing of micro loans, of smaller loans, unsecured loans in the ecosystem. So all I would say is look forward to a lot of disruptions happening in India, and not only for India, Indian fintechs and Indian practices and Indian public digital infrastructure would also be used by many countries across the globe. They will look at India, how India did and managed this such huge lending ecosystem. Of course, we have a very good Reserve Bank, central bank also, which has played a very big role. So all the best to SME, Power to SME, SME members. All the best, and future is bright. If you're doing your stuff right, if you're doing your business right, be assured that the credit will not be a constraint in coming times. Today also, in coming times, will get better and more competitive. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, Raviji. Thank you very much. Very, very encouraging and very positive, perspective that you have given. And I like some of the statements that you make that. And first of all, I would like that all SMEs, all those who keep complaining about non-availability, should listen to your, this address. We will invite you, in fact, in other programs also, so that you can, because it's a matter of, someone's perspective, how he looks at that.
Absolutely.
What you said was that SMEs should, improve. They have to improve their own financial discipline. The offers will come of their own. Because if you are financially disciplined, you are maintaining all the records, if you are giving good, business turnover and doing well in the entire ecosystem, business system, naturally the bankers and the financing institutions have to really look for such customers.
Absolutely.
And of course, then it's a matter of mechanism as to which mechanism is followed. And of course, associated with the mechanism is the ease of, sanction and disbursement that you explained, that paperless flow of entire, documents and sanction and disbursement and documentation. So thank you very much. I think it was a very, very useful talk in such a short time. You didn't exceed the time. In fact, I was so engrossed in your dispensation that you would have continued for some more time. But nevertheless, we can invite now Mr. Rajesh Shukla.
Yeah.
So Rajesh Shukla or Rajesh, you are with the
RXIL Receivables Exchange.
RXIL, yes. RXIL, of course, we have known RXIL as one of the 3 TREDS platform. As I mentioned earlier also, TREDS is growing day by day. And there is a lot of expectations from TREDS. In fact, there was a talk some time back that TREDS is also going to open a new window for financing MSMEs based on their creditworthiness. I don't know whether it has started or it's yet in the pipeline. But the concern is that all those companies who were mandated to join TREDS, big players, that is 500 crore and above, they have not yet done. And a lot of companies are still not joining, although there is I think there is no legal requirement, but there is a directive from the government. So how you can suggest that the SMEs, MSMEs can take advantage of the TREDS in their, business operations? So over to you, Ravi.
See, first of all, I thank Power to SME for giving us such an opportunity to be present in front of such a great panelist. Mr. Kumar, we have heard a lot about you in this ecosystem, and Mr. Tyagi has the insights from the SIDBI department has been so great. And we being a part of SIDBI as a joint venture between SIDBI and National Stock Exchange, we have undertaken some of those insights and try to instill in our ecosystem of TREDS. Sir, as you just, I would like to continue to the point Kumar sir mentioned that, okay, yeah, there is a wide, huge gap between their receivables of MSME, and this is creating a lot of great problems in the ecosystem. We are being taught about a great vicious cycle of supply chain and delayed payments, which starts with a delayed payment to MSME and ultimately leads to a delayed impact on our GDP. So to access to credit, of course, that's a very great and uh, very normal thing to have. But what we have to do is to understand why this credit is important to MSME ecosystem, and what exactly the as the trends, disruptive technologies have come up in the solutions. As far as the trades is concerned, sir, we have initially when we started in around 2017, we although we got an approval in 2016, we executed our first transaction in 2017. And especially I would like to mention, especially after this COVID pandemonium, what we saw in the ecosystem of MSME was that there was a huge gap. Um uh, the contribution to MSME to our economy has been great, and we cannot deny that they offer to such a large extent to our GDP and employment sector growth. And that is what our government of India, other banks as well as SIDBI and association has been doing to help MSME achieve that growth, especially after this COVID pandemonium. And we have got great immense government support. As you rightly mentioned, sir, there was a directive operated in 2018 by RBI that which mandated all the private organization having turnover more than 500 crore to register on the trades, and also the PSUs to get registered and transact on the trades. um, Basically, just for the people who do not have an understanding about what and how exactly trades work, let me just give you a brief how exactly it works. Trades, which is trade receivables e-discounting system, it's basically a part of a insightful technology, a e-platform, where the buyers, the basically the PSUs, the major organizations, the MSME sellers, basically we only cater to MSME through trades, and the finances, all the three parties come into a single platform. So as rightly mentioned by Tyagi sir, that the access to the credit has been immense, and the people who is disciplined, I would like to quote that word, discipline um, in their growth, discipline in their Sibyl and all those facts, has been easy. It's been easy for them to get credit from RXIL as well as from other bank programs, as rightly mentioned by Tyagi sir. And this is where the trades come in for all the MSME participants. As I mentioned, it's a platform where all three parties come in, and the discounting process of invoices take place. As rightly mentioned by Kumar sir, we have also started MSME to MSME funding process also. Although it's still under works, we are still creating infrastructure based on that. But recently, probably by next year in the January, we would be starting MSME to MSME funding also. uh, See, as the topic of this discussion is about the disruptive technologies, I would like to mention this threads being one of the great technologies that have evolved in last 4 to 5 years, providing credit to MSME, to buyers, as well as an opportunity for bankers to increase their credit loans based on MSME. Um, just to give you a brief how much exactly the volume, the numbers are concerned, we have done around 70,000 crores of discounting on the portal since our inception. We have around more than 24,000 MSME vendors, MSME sellers registered on the portal, which are directly transacting on the portal. We have around 60 to 65 financiers registered on the portal, which are actively discounting on the portals, providing loans to MSME with by the form of bill discounting. Um, I would also like to mention that the initiatives taken by the government has been immense in such a providing such a platform to to access to the creditors as well as MSME as well as the buyers. As rightly mentioned in 2018 notification, they had come up with all the PSUs and government departments to get registered. They have also made sure that all the lending done by the banks through trades does comes under PSL. So there is also incentives to the banks providing limits to the RXIL trades. They have also what has made sure that as you rightly mentioned, it was just a directive, but government of India through Department of Financial Services, they are tracking, monitoring the growth of PSUs and corporate buyers on RXL Trades on under Trades platform, and accessing credits to the MSME vendors based on that. Um, Basic in recently in 2001, they had also given approval to NBFCs to provide credit, so that there is no lack of funds for all the buyers, providing credit to providing help to MSME vendors. And also the GEMS, I would also like to include the GEMS, the government e-marketplace, that has been a game changer based on the procurement policy for all the PSUs as well as private buyers. So there's has been a various steps taken up, initiatives taken up with the government of India, RBI, on the paper as well as technology basis also. And Trades is one of a prime example where the technology part meets the actual demand and supply conundrum. And as rightly mentioned by Kumar sir, that until and unless we don't bridge the gap between the demand and the supply, there won't be actual actual differences seen in the ecosystem. And just to focus on that, since last 2 3 years, we have tried to bridge those gap as much as possible, and make sure that we are able to provide credits to all the MSME parties as well as buyers and financiers available on our portal. Um, we have, as I rightly mentioned, we have done around 70,000 crore of discounting. And it has been a growth which we have never, which this trades hadn't seen before the COVID. Especially after the COVID, we have done around 50,000 crores of business. So I would like to just to go through that all the processes, all the technological developments done, digital onboarding process, single key credit system, credit to the micro consumers. And that is where we come in, RXIL comes in, where MSME vendors can get themselves registered on the portal and directly go through a workflow. And just to give you a brief about how exactly our Excel Trades or the Trade system works, is it's a bill discounting portal where invoices can be uploaded by either the seller side or the buyer side, depending upon whoever is taking up the cost. And these bills get funded by all the bankers, all the financiers present on the portal at a very low cost automatic bidding system. And MSMEs can get their payment before their due date, because uh, in this ecosystem, what I've understood, what I've talked to the MSME vendors, what I've understood is that the basic nature of issues that they are facing, financial issues that they are facing, is depending upon this difference of getting their payments back from PSUs as well as large corporate buyers. So as far as the technological development is concerned, the Trades has been a game changer for all those MSME vendors, all those corporate buyers, as well as financiers who have adopted this TREPS technologies and taken credit through based on that. Um, uh, as you rightly mentioned, the MSME varies from a consumer, from a party having a 1 crore turnover to a party having 250 crore turnover. So our main intention has been to provide credit, provide help, financial assistance to micro as well as small corporates, where the access to the credit is very low from the various bankers. Um, Generally, MSME can have loans or can have working capital system with one or the few bankers available on the ecosystem, on the market. But through through the trades ecosystem, they can have access to the credits to multiple finances, basically all the finances present on the portal, which comes under the Indian Factoring Act. Even NBFCs, new MZFCs that have joined our organization and providing helping the access to the credit to MSME vendors. And this is where they have really made provided help to MSME. The most important and the most righteous thing to do was to include this cause having no recourse borrowing to MSME vendors. In all over this transaction system, if there any delay in payment to the finances, there is no recourse to the MSME. We have had various systems where the recourse is generally set on the MSME vendors, and they have to bear the brunt of the large corporate buyers or the PSUs delaying the payment. In this case, there is no recourse done to the MSME vendors, and that is what has made sure that more and more MSME vendors join the trades arena. Just to mention about RXL, we have around 20 to 24,000 MSME vendors, and rightly mentioned by Tyagi sir, there are three platforms that are currently providing these trades. So if you take a full ecosystem of trades, around 50 to 55,000 MSME vendors have been helped based on this trades platform. And there are various technological advancement that is happening within our group industries also. We are initiating a export trade financing also, where as you're already aware, our MSME is a great exporter. We have around 45% of exports coming from our small MSMEs. So we have also creating a ITFS system where they can factor their export bills also. And of course, as I rightly mentioned, that we are developing MSME to MSME funding also. And just to complete our session, I would like to mention some of the future plans that our RXIL is having based on the ecosystem of trades and expanding them to other facilities also. We want to include more and more CPSCs, the government organization, into a platform, and we are working on that, because this is where around 20 to 25% of credit MSMEs are taking credit based on that. We are also working on integrating a system with GEM portal, another technological advancement that we are working on. And once this integration part is done, all the MSME vendors using GEM's portal can directly those invoices can directly flow through there won't be any manual process. There will be an automatically flow of things. As I mentioned, NBFCs has also joined the trades platform, and they are uh, sincerely discounting the processes. We are also starting the second tier funding, as I mentioned, MSME to MSME funds. We are also into trade credit insurance and all to provide low rated corporates with funds, because basically all the credit check or the credit due diligence is being done from the buyer side. So
Okay.
we take access from the all the documents from the buyer side, and then we provide credit to the MSMEs. And last but not the least, the GST and integration is being also set up from our organization. These
Good.
type of technological advancement, these types of helps given from the government as well as the bankers side, has made this ecosystem so approachable. And just to brief you about how exactly this ecosystem has helped, is what we have evaluated a brief done a brief survey of the MSMEs. So what we realized that in 2018, 17, 18, more than one fifth, around the 20% of the MSME vendors, they had to let go of their receivables based on late payments, delayed payments, or depending upon various reasons. This number has come down to around 14 to 13%. Although it's 14 to 13%, it's still a large number, but it
Okay.
has come down to that.
Okay.
So thank you, Kumar sir, and thank you, Tyagi sir, for such an opportunity, and look forward for that.
Thank you, Prajay. Thank you. Very useful information. I'm sure the people are going to take advantage of trades. But I am very happy that 70,000 crore worth of disbursements have happened, and a huge network of MSME vendors has entered the trades platform. So I'm told that Mr. Ravi Tyagi, Chief General Manager, SIDBI, has to leave for some other engagement. So I would like, in case there is any question for him from the audience, before I invite our distinguished guest, Saurabh. If there is any question for Ravi ji from the audience, Varun?
I think no questions, sir. If anything, I think comes up, we can forward it to him for his response on that.
But surely I would like to, get his help in connecting with other industry associations, because they also are struggling with, same problem and same complaint.
Yes,
Your,
sir.
your address was very positive and with a different perspective. So I am very happy, and thank you, Raviji, for sparing your time. Since you have to leave, thank
Kumar
you very
sir,
much. We'll have
sorry
another.
to
Yeah,
Kumar sir, sorry to interrupt. There is one question from Bipesh Pandey. Does
Hmm.
SIDBI have any schemes for startups?
Please, Raviji.
Okay.
Hmm.
So, you would know SIDBI's role. One is SIDBI has a venture capital subsidiary known as SIDBI Venture Capital Limited, which gives direct equity. Right now, yes, they have, I think, one fund for startups also, and they have a one fund for exporting units. But SIDBI is more of a government's, I would say, SPV to build bigger ecosystem. So SIDBI runs fund of fund program. We give money to nearly every venture capital fund in the country, who gives money to startups. In addition to that, in last couple of years, SIDBI has now started to put money from its own balance sheet as seed fund in various incubators of the country. So I think it is already 6 to 7. I don't have all the names with me, but probably on SIDBI balance sheet you can see. What we are doing is we are putting a seed fund, because a lot of incubators have been formed, but they don't have seed capital to give to the companies which are incubating there. So we have devised a very innovative kind of mechanism where we put seed fund and very small sweat equity. We also, the incubator has to bring in some money to put, but we give money up to 25 lakhs to startups in those incubators. So we are continuously promoting the ecosystem. As I would just say, as Mr. Kumar mentioned, it's a India mein everything happens at very large scale, and there is not just one institution which can do it. So we are an ecosystem builder player. We bring the industry convergence, work with the industry players, and try to make it happen. So we are doing a lot of things in startup, but direct startup funding is limited now, but it is now being done through incubators also. Yeah, please. I think there was one more question. I just saw it flashing.
Sir, there is one thing came up. Please repeat the procedure for a machine loan of up to 1 CR from SIDBI.
So all I would say is, first of all, you write express loans. You go to SIDBI website and you can see express loans. You will find a full process of doing express loan there itself. So it's completely digital, and directly any SME can go and apply for a machinery loan there. So it's a very simple process. As I told you, SIDBI takes decision on the basis of, they make you fill just one page form, but they ask you to upload your ITRs. They will ask you to put the OTPs and all to give your kind of GST data for SIDBI to pull your GST data directly from GSTN. And also you will have to upload your bank statements. And these bank statements can also be done through account aggregator. You don't need to upload, but currently account aggregator is a new system. So sometimes it fails, you don't get the statement in one go. Therefore, we have made provision for uploading of bank statements. You don't have to give anything else. It's just, and once you submit this information, within 10 minutes, you get a decision whether yes, the loan will go through or will not go through. But you have to fill one page form. So what the best way would be that you can go to the website, look at it, understand the scheme guidelines, policies written there. And if you're interested, keep your information ready completely and then start submitting.
Okay. So if there is no other question, we can thank Shri Ravi Tyagi ji. Thank you very much, Ravi ji, since you have to leave. So
Yeah.
we will go
Thank you,
to,
sir.
okay, thank you. We will go to our other distinguished guest, Mr. Saurabh Tiwari, who is an entrepreneur himself and is a co-founder of Search My Tenders. He is a very highly qualified professional, and we would be very happy to have his assessment of as to the situation in prevailing in the country, first of all, and whether the trends, the emerging trends, suggest that there is going to be improvement. And of course, from the talk of our panelists, what does it make out? Whether it is promising or something is happening, and what is the future course? So
Yeah.
over to you, or Mr. Saurabh Tiwari.
Thank you, Kumar sir. Honestly, it's a great opportunity, and very happy to be on this panel, because we at Search My Tenders, we are continuously involved in actually making the whole ecosystem for the MSMEs simple and smooth. So I'll just give a brief that what we do. So the idea to form this company is to make the whole process of giving business to the MSMEs smooth, easy, and very much possible and accessible. So we provide all kinds of hand-holding to the MSMEs in terms of the government sector, like the finding of tenders, doing the documentation part, even helping them with the financing part, doing certain level of consulting, and that too for almost all kinds of industries. So we have been successfully able to gauge the scenario in the country. So my discussion would be more towards the part of actually connecting the business to the finance. So I mean, the people talked about a lot of things, but I would just, because that's really from the insight of what we see in the market, and we also have a lot of insights from the MSME side, that actually what they are feeling, what is that they're going through. So and I think that should be a very good food for thought, and something for the policymakers and the people, that what they should be doing for the betterment of the future of financing. So I'll just start my discussion with taking the point from what Tyagi Saab has just mentioned, that we all say MSME, keep saying MSME in one breath, but to be honest, I mean, if you go a little deeper into the numbers, so it's actually 99.47% is the micro, 0.5% is small, and just 0.01% is medium. So it's an astonishing number of 99.47 for the micro, very, very small players. So you can define them with couple of lakhs to certain of crores and all these kind of bifurcations, but that is the deprived lot, which is actually not able to access the schemes and the promotions and the policies, especially in the financing sector. So that is definitely a very strong point in terms of the future of financing, that the lenders and the financial institutions have to focus on this huge lot of micro, which is almost like everything. I mean, if you look at the percentage of micro, practically small and medium doesn't even exist. So that's definitely a future wherein the financing institution should focus to grow, because today we are talking about a 5 trillion economy to be reached in the next 2 years. So I mean, that is the way forward, wherein you have a pool of a huge small companies who have the capacity to become small and then medium. So that's one part, definitely. Second, I would like to focus on the bifurcation of what these MSMEs actually do in the market. So broadly, there is 3 major segments. One is manufacturing, second is trade, and third is services. So fortunately or unfortunately, all 3 of them are contributing to 1/3 of all the revenue which is being generated in the market. And since in the last 20-25 years, there has been a tremendous growth in the service sector. We all know that, and most of the MSMEs are actually working in the service sector. So that's the very good part, and there has been a lot of financing done in the service part as well. But there is a but into it, and that is that since the year 2015-16, the contribution of manufacturing part still stands at a very modest 16 to 17% in India, and that's where the worry is. So I mean, manufacturing is a backbone of any country. China is a fantastic example of that. It has the capacity to create a parallel economy. So talking about this modest 16% of manufacturing, I think that is the sector which is actually deprived of a lot of financial tools, instruments, which should be there so that the manufacturing sector grows. And that is the future for the country like India, wherein we have the manpower, we have the resources, and we should be focusing on the manufacturing sector to take the country to maybe 5 trillion or even 10 trillion economy, what our government wants to. So I think these are 2 major key areas wherein I think the financial sector actually should be focusing on. Uh, Quickly, I'll jump to the section of challenges and opportunities, because what I feel is wherever there is a challenge, there is an opportunity. So I think immediately you can pick up that what should be done in the near future so that the life of MSMEs become easy, and plus we as a country grow. So first is what we have seen in our research with the MSMEs, that there's a huge burden of administration to the MSMEs. I mean, they have to register for GST, they have to register for Udyam, they have to register for GEM. So I think if there should be a government intervention so that these companies uh, uh, get a streamlined system so that they can do it very fast, because for a company like a micro, it's a very capital intensive as well as resource intensive activity in terms of admin. Next is the access to credit worthiness. I mean, that's a very important factor for any lender and for the micro or for an SME for that matter, that they should be knowing that whether they are credit worthy enough even to get a loan or even apply for it. And there's a huge sector wherein there is a huge unawareness. They don't even know that where to go, how to go, whom to reach out. So that's another big challenge and big problem which is prevailing in the market. Another thing which we see that government, I mean, thankful to the Indian government that they have come up with a lot of schemes. Mudra, there is a Mudra scheme, there is a stand-up scheme, but unfortunately, it's only the government banks which are kind of obligated, or there is an obligation that only they focus on. When these schemes come into the market, I mean, there's a little less risk appetite for the private banks to actually implement these schemes for the micro and small organizations. So I think that's another one thing wherein some relaxation can be done for the micro and small organizations, so that they get the access to all this money, and especially the people and the companies who are doing something value addition to the market business, they should have the access to it. On top of it, there is a huge lot of companies which are not even registered. So I mean, and whoever are registered, they belong to the small and the medium section. So I mean, you can just look at the irony that 99.47%, which is the micro, is not even registered. So I mean, how will they get this access, and that to financial, which is very scrutinized sector for any kind, whether it's an individual or a company. So I think that's where our future is, and it is very much pointing that the whole financial domain should be focusing on that, how this can be pulled out and reached out to it. Two more things I think wherein MSMEs should be benefited, which they are not, is there's a huge dependency on the bank for to get the credit. I think the corporate bond market should also be available for them. Although I know it's because of the risk, it's not there, but again, because we talk about that there should be government policies, so there should be a comprehensive policy so that this particular option should also be there for them, not only, and the dependency should not only on the banks. And I think one more thing which is coming to my mind is that foreign investors are again a very good way to finance these all these organizations, but that is again, there's a huge lacuna. So something should be done by the financial institutions. Some JV can be done, or government can come into the player for market and help become a catalyst, so that this money should reach out to all this huge chunk of small companies. Maybe you can make a cluster or whatever, but I think that's a very huge potential for the financial market. So I think if all these challenges actually point towards the opportunity in the financial domain, which we see on the practical level and on the ground level. And if these things can be rectified, I think we will be talking about much bigger numbers in terms of the growth of GDP. Just
Yes.
putting a small point on the disruptions and the innovative technologies which are there and which are going to change the tapestry of the Indian context and also of the world. So there is a huge contribution in terms of technological growth in the electronic manufacturing. If you talk about manufacturing per se, because the semiconductor manufacturing is the way forward. And another is definitely payments. I mean, India has become the country wherein UPI has become a daily word for even for a chai vendor or somebody who's just walking on the road to a very nice hotel or an outlet. So I think we have done a fantastic job in terms of the executing the payment part in terms of UPI. But out of that, I will just pick up two segments, which is going to be the future for the MSMEs, especially. The big organizations are already in that direction, but I think these two sectors will definitely help propel these companies to go there. One is the use and the implementation of artificial intelligence. That is has to be there. It's already there, but MSMEs can definitely gain and benefit a lot out of it, because AI, the best part with AI is that it helps the MSMEs in terms of scalability, because micro, small, all they struggle with scalability, and AI can help them with that. And the second one is the sustainability. So it's a very important topic. All the global leaders and the companies are talking about it. And to be honest, the kind of experience now I have, and when I'm into the market, I will not be surprised that a couple of years from now there is going to be a sustainability certificate to be supplied to the financial institution to get a loan.
Thank you.
So it's
Good,
not,
good.
yeah, so it's not something so these are two very promising
Yes.
and disruptive technologies which are already there, and MSMEs should go there, and the financial institutions should focus for the companies who are into these two domains.
You're
So
right.
I think
Right.
this is from my side in terms of our insight as a company. And if these things can be rectified, we can really change the whole fabric of the MSME
Thank you.
domain.
Thank you,
Thank you.
Saurabh. Thank you. Thank you. Wonderful. I think you have given a very modern perspective, the current perspective from a young entrepreneur.
Yeah.
I'm sure the people are going to implement, in fact, some of the ideas that you have given. I'm sure this is going to be the future also, what you said. AI is certainly the future. And if you talk of, foreign investors, naturally the funding should not be a problem once we start tapping into the foreign investments. So we come to the close of these our panel discussions. In fact, I would like to go back to our team for any questions.
Sir, there is no new question as of now, sir.
Okay.
So we can, close, sir.
So I think it was a wonderful discussion. We have had very brilliant ideas, new perspective. In fact, instead of being very pessimistic, we have heard, in fact, as to how the future technological improvements, the disruptions are changing the whole landscape of the MSME financing. And with the new enterprises, new institutions entering the market with the use of technology, particularly the fintech technology platforms, the things are going to be much easier. The only thing is, the caveat is that the MSMEs or the loan seekers have to be financially disciplined and provide all the data, and the things are going to be much easier in future. So thank you all. Thank you very much. I think we had good, thank you, Saurabh. Thank you, Mr. Prajesh Shukla, and thank you, Raviji, who has left. And thank you to all my team who have really assembled this wonderful program. Okay, over to you, Varun.
Thank you. Thank you, sir. Thank you. The insights shared were really thoughtful, and we are confident that the information and ideas that have been shared today will have a significant impact on our attendees. To all the attendees and participants, we have a link that we have put up in the chat box. You can submit your queries there, and we can get back to you with the responses. We also have a daily newsletter, SME Khabar, that brings you the comprehensive SME news, articles, blogs, infographics that you need to know to run your business efficient. So you can also subscribe. The link is given in the chat box. Thank you all for attending this session today. We look forward to have you in our future endeavors too. Thank you, Kumar Saab. Thank you, Prajesh. Thank you, Saurabh.
Thank you.
Thanks
for
a lot,
the-
the Power to SME team. It was really wonderful, and I think
Thank
we
you.
should be making the change.
Thank you, Saurabh. Thank you. We
Bye.
look forward to it.
Bye.
Yeah.
Thank you.